Hi, everyone. I am so glad I'm back. And it is Thursday. And if it's anything, your Thursday is anything like mine, you are going to, it's a day. I'm having trouble streaming to Instagram. I was trying that new today. But however, I should be live on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm thankful for that. Those of you that want to come in and join me, feel free to join me in the chat. And while I say that, let me actually look at my chat. Let me see if I can put up my chat too. Okay. And so let me see if I can put the chat up. And I'm over here. I'm trying to learn this new process and learn this. So comments. There we go. So I can see if anybody do some comments. I hopefully will see it. And if you have any questions, then I will answer those questions. And for those of you who may not know me and who I am, let me introduce myself again. I'm Mama Faye, and I have started I have three podcasts that I currently do. And a part of those podcasts, I wanted to come on live to just connect with you all and to see if you all have any questions about those podcasts the episodes. And I'm excited because this week on the Becoming Me podcast, and I'll tell you a little bit more to kind of keep you refreshed as to what Becoming Me. I started this podcast because a lot of times we have goals for our life and we have goals for the year that we say we want to accomplish in our life. And somewhere along the way, we get lost and the goals go by the wayside. And then we look up a year or two. And for some people, unfortunately, we'll look up 10 years later and find out that we have not really accomplished the things that we set out to accomplish. You know how when you are young and you have all of these dreams and ambitions and things that you're going to do and you feel that you're going to do in life, and, you know, for some reason, because life started happening and distractions start coming, a lot of times we get distracted and we eventually either put those aside or we never go back to them. So I have this Becoming Me podcast and process that I bring to you about how to do goal setting and how to stay on track to get some of the things that you want to get done in your life. So this week, our episode that we talked about was leadership. We talked about leadership and about how with leadership, how a lot of times you have certain challenges. I kind of go through what the characteristics of a leader are, like what a leadership should be. And then I tell you, for those of you who want to become a leader, I tell you how you can become a leader. One of the things that I wanted to tell you about today about that is I talk about it on the podcast, and I also go through it on a newsletter that accompanies that podcast. And by the way, all of this is living on the Substack platform. So, but it streams to YouTube, and now it streams to, it should be on Facebook. So hopefully you'll be able to see it as well. If not, you can go to Apple, you can go to Spotify, and you can go to iHeart, and you can go to Podbean because it has all of the streaming places that is streamed on the Podbean platform. So back to the leadership. One of the things that I do talk about as far as becoming a leader is finding people who in your life, or people who maybe not necessarily in your life, that are great leaders. A lot of times when you maybe don't have a good representation of a good leader, the best ones are the ones that are around you, but sometimes you may have to look at people who are doing what you want to do and follow them from afar. So I some of the greatest leaders that I've had in my lifetime are leaders that don't even know I pretty much exist. And then some of them may know that I exist, but they didn't know that I was watching them because I was uh, looking at the way that they lead. And sometimes I would say to leaders, and sometimes you may not think that you're a leader, but you are a leader. If you are a parent, you're a leader. If you are in certain professions, you are a leader. If you are over a football team or over a dance group, you are a leader. So a lot of times people are looking up to you. And sometimes, even though you may not want to put yourself out there as a leader, you are still a leader. So I encourage you to listen to that podcast about becoming a leader because it is a process. A lot of times, some people are kind of what we say born a leader because sometimes, even when they're on the playground at in kindergarten, you can see some of the ones who are born leaders because they start leading right off the bat. And so, but there are others who become leaders because they learn how to lead um, as they watch other leaders. And some of my first leaders were my parents. My parents were my greatest leaders because both of them taught me how to be disciplined. They also taught me how to be consistent, and they also taught me right from wrong. And that was a great start for me as far as becoming a leader in my lifetime. And then I had leaders, a few, I wouldn't say teachers, because some of my teachers, I didn't really necessarily had teachers that I could think of right now that I really looked up to. But I did have leaders that were a part of a church that were great leaders, and I was able to follow, and they were good mentors for me from afar. I never really went up to any of my pastors and said, "Hey, can you mentor me? I want to become a leader." But I just looked at some of the things and some of the ways that they led, and that was the way that I was patterning my life to lead as well. And a lot of times, some of the pastors that I've had, they were good and instrumental in talking about everyday life things because when they did that, that gave me examples of how to lead. And so in the leadership one, I don't know if I gave some life examples, but a lot of times in the podcast, I do try to give examples of leader and leadership examples just so you can see every day. Now, I do have another podcast that I'm going to talk to you about today. And in that particular podcast, I kind of talk about bad leaders, unfortunately. But in the newsletter that accompanies this particular podcast, Becoming Me, I talk about the characteristics of a leader, how to be a good leader, and then the the consequences of not being a good leader. So I go into more details in the newsletters, and those newsletters are free and they're easy read. So you're not going to be there all day reading that. And hopefully, what will come out of this is I will put together a whole book of all of the becomings. And so we're going somewhere. And I am going to also do a goal setting. I did do a goal setting uh, on one of my websites, but I'm transitioning my website from MomafeyHomeTraining.com, and I'm about to transfer that over to MomafeyHT.com, so that particular goal setting video may not be on there, but I will go over goal setting because I looked at mine. I look at it weekly because I come on the podcast and I want to show you how to set goals and how to stay with it. So on the Becoming Me, I tell you which goal I am working on for the week. And I realized that my goals come under about 6 different categories that I have. And then under those categories, I show how I plan to accomplish those goals. I put them into sub goals and what I need to work on in order to reach that goal. Because at my stage in life, a lot of the goals are ways that I need to make sure that I'm reaching those goals actually so that I can maintain my life and functionality and have a great retirement, because that's another one of my goals is to retire. And I'm retired, but I find out that when you are first do something, you're becoming it. Even though I have the title now that I'm retired, but I am actually becoming retired, meaning that it's a transition, it's a process. And if you don't recognize that you have a process, you can miss it. And you can miss key parts of it in order for you to be successful at it, because you can be something. There are, for instance, we talked about leadership this week. You can be a leader, but that doesn't mean that you became a great leader. It takes a process to become a great leader. And anybody who leads will probably, if they were honest, they would tell you that they're leading you from experience, but they're also going through a process while they're leading you. And so they're coming up upon new things that are happening in their lives as they go forward, because remember, they're out front. So they are experiencing things that you haven't experienced yet. So now they have to process that. They have to figure out how to do it well. And then they have to turn around and try to teach it to you. So that's why we got to give our leaders a little bit of grace. I know sometimes we want them to be perfect, but there is no perfect leader. A lot of times, leaders feel like they have to present themselves as being perfect. And that's why some people shy away from becoming a leader, because they're waiting for everything to show that they are perfect. And then they'll start leading. But that's not how this works. Really, leaders start leading even while they are becoming a leader. And it's very, it does bring a type of humility, and it should bring a type of humility so that you have that, give yourself that grace to become a great leader. And you just have to, we have to keep working on it. We work on these processes. So I encourage you to do that and to become a part of that process. And then I would like to speak to you all today about the Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye. And in the Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye, I'm really dealing with, in this particular series. Now, there was a first series that went out, and that particular series is about understanding the cycles in your life. And so if you understand the cycles in your life, now this new series is about winning while you're under attack. And there are different types of attack. The ones that I'm talking about right now are the types of attacks like somebody is coming at you. And a lot of times, if you are a person who is trying to do something better in your life, you're trying to grow, you're trying to level up, you're trying to, or you are doing it, you are doing those things. There are people and that will try to really actually try to stop you. And so I bring this from this one is a more spiritual one. And so I talk about the Nehemiah strategy and how Nehemiah was trying to help the people, his people, to rebuild. Nehemiah was somewhere else in another area because they had been, brought to another place. And Nehemiah was there working under the king. So Nehemiah himself was good. Life was good. It was good. But when he inquired about his people, he saw that his people wasn't doing good. They did not fare well. So he wanted to go back and rebuild the wall and rebuild the place, because when you rebuild the wall, you rebuild your protection at that time. And there were people who actually was against them, that they did not want that wall rebuilt. And so I talk about how, what in this particular episode, I'm giving you all of the tea of how people come at you, because they have a strategy of how they come at you. And if you listen to that episode, you're going to find out most of the ways that people work against you and what strategies they use. And I'm not telling that because I just want to say it. I'm telling you that because I want you to be able to understand that, how when you see this happening, you can understand it and not go hide in a corner, or I'm going to give up, or why is this happening to me? But you can, next week, we're going to talk about how you rebuild while you're under these attacks and how you do that. And last week, I gave you an example of how a boss of mine really came after me, and what did I do to, as far as that was concerned. And this week, I talk about a situation that had happened to me at a workshop that I had attended, and how I didn't see the attack coming, but how eventually I was able to recognize it and what the things that I had to do to rectify that situation. And I apologize to you all if there's this delay, but we're going to continue and we're going to go through this process. And so I want you all to go ahead and listen to those podcasts. They are audio. And eventually, hopefully, I will, when I can get all of my technical difficulties under control, I will be able to do those live. And so in the meantime, I'm going to be coming live on Thursdays, and I'm going to be, if you have questions, I want you to put those questions in the comments. And today, I want you to, also do, if you have any questions that you just really don't want everybody to see, you can message me on Substack, and it's okay. I want to hear from you. And also too, it's going to help me when I do the lives to be able to bring you content and bring you information and bring you examples in real time that will be able to help you on this journey of either you becoming something. And if you are breathing and you on top of the sand, guess what? You better be becoming something. You better be, and hopefully it'll be something good. And also to help you as far as those that may be under attacks, that you will learn how to win. And when I say win, it's not because we're going to go out and be fighting people. It's called winning, meaning my ideal of winning is winning when you able to still accomplish what it was that you were trying to accomplish, and you was able to really reach that goal in spite of everything that was happening. And so one of the things that I am thinking about doing in one of the episodes is I'm going to talk about the other types of attacks that can happen to us, in life, how we can have a car accident, or we can have a death of a loved one, or we can have those things. So I'm going to kind of give a little, I think I'm going to dedicate an episode to that. And if you all don't see that episode, I need you all to remind me to do that episode. Okay. And I also want to encourage you all to become a part of my Substack and to subscribe. And the reason why I want you to subscribe, because on the Becoming Me podcast, I'm giving you a free PDF. Is a goal setting journal, and you can either type into the PDF or you can print it. And I'm encouraging you to write down your goals. And that particular journal is absolutely free. I'm giving you a 100% discount code where you can go to MomafeyHT.com and you can pick up that journal for free. And the reason why I have you go through there is because that will help me to track how many people actually went through that process. So I want to encourage you to go and get that particular journal and start your process and start making your Becoming Me goals. It's not just listening to what I'm saying, it is also becoming an active participant. I'm not going to come knock on your door. I'm not going to be, over you being judgmental because you wrote them down and you didn't get back to them. But I hope that each week I encourage you to remind you, oh, yeah, let me go back and look at my goals. Let me figure out what I'm going to be working on this week. And in that case, I even put down and I let you all know what I'm working on each week, because that helps keep me honest too. And so this week was budgeting and trying to stay in my budget, because the groceries I'm telling you, that budget has really went up. So now I have to look at budgeting this week to see how I can um, find different ways to bring that back into the budget that I set. Or a lot of times you have to think of ways that you can, take other things out of the budget that don't need to be there, so that I can go ahead and put, add that extra expense. And for those of you who doing a lot of driving, you got to add that gas into, and the potential of that gas going up into your budget. So these are some of the things that we're doing, because that's a part of the becoming and staying financially stable during my retirement years. So that's a part of that goal setting. And like I said, my goals are always ongoing. They go from year to year to year. I add and I don't usually take away one, but I usually add, and I have added a new goal to mine since 2026. I added that goal probably in February, and that's a challenge. I got a challenge on this one that I do, and I'll let you all know about it and a little bit later what that goal is. But it's a challenging one for me, and so I'm working on that one as well. And so I also want you all to subscribe to the Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye, because in that particular subscription, a free subscription is I'm giving you a copy of the ebook, and the name of that ebook is under, Understanding Cycles in Your Journey. And so that particular ebook is free to you. I just updated it, and so it's pretty good. And I wish I would have had that book, because it would have helped explain where I am and where I'm going. And I think it's very important to know where you are in life and where you're going, where you are now and where you're going. Those are three key things that everybody needs to know and understand about their lives. So I have that in an ebook for you, and that one is due a discount code. It's 100% discount code. When you subscribe for free, you'll get an email. That email is going to tell you what the discount code is. And for those of you who want to support what I am doing, I have the paid subscription as well, and you can help support what I'm doing by subscribing to the Substack, or you can become a Becomers part of my Becomers Club. And I will do a one-on-one coaching session with you about whether it's about your becoming goals, whether it's about maybe you're going up for a job and you want to go over some interview skills. Maybe you're doing career change. Now, basically, my experience is in healthcare. I am a registered nurse, and I've also been a manager, and so I can talk about those particular steps and levels for you if you want to, for me to have that one-on-one about that. I can also talk to you about the understanding cycles, and we could go through some of those as well. So you can go to my website, and on the website, it tells you the different areas that I do coaching in. And so I would love for you to become a part of that paid subscription as well. One of them is yearly so that you don't have it coming out of every month, which I usually prefer myself. And so I have that as well. All right. So if I want you to please like, and please subscribe, and please follow, and also send your comments because I want to hear it and I want to be able to comment in real time. But I also, like I said, if you have a question that you would like for me to talk about here, I will do it. All right. So next week, I am talking about becoming a business owner. I'm going to be honest with you all. This is going to be not so much by experience. The ones that I've done before are by experience. This is going to be by things that people have told me, that I do know that when you're starting a business and you're becoming a business owner, I'm going to pull that information and those resources for you. All right. And then on Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye, next week, we're going to be talking about building while under attack. And there's a way that you have to build. And so we're going to go over those ways. And the Mama Faye Becoming Me podcast comes out on Tuesday. So look out on Tuesday. That comes out on Tuesday. And then the Understanding Cycles by Mama Faye, that always comes out on Thursday. And then the newsletter for each one of those is the Becoming Me newsletter comes out on Wednesday. And then the Understanding Cycles newsletter, which is called the Weekly Refresh, that one comes out on Fridays. So you'll have something each day of the week, mostly except probably Monday. All right. I want to thank you. And as I always say to those that listen to my podcast, thank you for listening. That's all for today. And I will see you next time.